YouTube, how's it going? Frogs Angels is back with the Week 11 NFL recap video. I do this recap every single week. We also have different type of prediction videos for the NFL, Friday live streams, all kinds of fun stuff here at Frogs Angels. Please follow our Twitter, Frogs_Angels. We're trying to get that following up, maybe similar to this YouTube following. That's been great. A lot of recap stuff on the Twitter. A lot of good stuff on there. Maybe stuff you'll see on there before it gets to the recap. I'll also start making predictions. Maybe after the Monday night games. Maybe every Tuesday morning, I'll make NFC, AFC championship predictions and Super Bowl predictions updated every single week. So it'll be about who is playing the best football at that particular time. So everyone loves predictions. That should get the Twitter following up. So go check that out. We'll start making predictions on there as well as on the channel. But anyways, a lot of good games this week. A lot of games nobody really cares about, but let's recap them. We kind of recap Thursday night on our live stream. So if you don't know about our Friday live streams, we recap Thursday night on that. We talk about other good stuff. Sometimes it's not about sports, fun and games sometimes. But good win for the Seahawks. The Packers controlled most of that game. Some coaching mistakes, a ball that wasn't caught. I put that on the officials and no review too. That was by Lockett. We talked about this in the Friday live stream. But it's a big win for Seahawks, big loss for the Packers. Moving on though, Cowboys Falcons. I thought the Falcons would win this game because of matchup purposes, and at home. Couldn't quite do it. The offense, it looked good, but it just didn't put up enough points. Matt Ryan played a heck of a game. Julio Jones played a good game. I thought Coleman was good. As soon as they get in the other team's territory, it seems like every week they just can't do it. I think Sarkisian has to go. Thought he had to go many weeks ago, but it's still, I think, a problem. There's a big coaching problem, a play calling problem, not just with the Falcons, with the NFL, with a lot of NFL teams. We'll talk about that more and more. But good game for the Cowboys. Zeke with another hell of a game. Gotta give a lot of credit to that offensive line, that run blocking. Very impressive. The difference is Dak's taking care of the football better. The games they lose, he turns it over a couple times, gets strip sacked. Look at that Redskins game, that costly one right at the end zone, or right at their own end zone, and he takes care of the ball. He's got to use his legs, and he's got to be a game manager. He can be a little more than a game manager, but just they got the talent. On defense, they got the talent with Zeke and Amari Cooper and the offensive line to win football games. They're back in that race for the NFC East. Very impressive. Disappointing for the Falcons. Very disappointing. Another disappointing team is the Panthers. A few weeks ago I thought was a legit contender. Then after what they did against the Steelers, I still thought they were a playoff contender, a team that can win a game or two in the playoffs. But, a team that does that can't really win a Super Bowl in my eyes. And then it kind of, not in a similar way, but it showed again this week. Lions have been a disappointing team. They've been struggling big time on both sides of the ball, and the Panthers just couldn't do it. And it's shocking. I thought it'd be a close game, but I didn't think the Panthers would lose this game. Cam, ever since that Steelers game, really not playing his game. He did come out of the game for a little bit hurt. DJ Moore, I thought, played a really good game. Funchess dropped the touchdown early. Everything about that was wrong. The route, just the way everything was wrong. Just everything. The way he turned his body, I don't know. I think their best receiver is DJ Moore. Curtis Samuel was impressive too. You can see he's got to work on his technique a little bit. Former running back, but he can catch, he can fly. They're getting the weapons, but now Cam's not playing his game. He's not playing terrible, but the offensive line maybe isn't the same as it was a few weeks ago. They were looking very impressive. The defense, a lot of missed tackles in this defense. A lot of missed tackles. They need more speed on the D-line. They need younger guys on the D-line. Solid linebacker unit, but it doesn't really matter. They got young in the secondary that could help down the line, but they need their offense guys to play their game, and they need some speed on the D-line, I think. Just need a better D-line in general, more pass rush. So disappointing last couple weeks for the Panthers, who we thought they were a contender. We thought. Impressive win for the Lions. Kerryon Johnson does go down. That sucks, especially playing on Thursday against the Bears this Thursday. That hurts because Kerryon Johnson maybe was the only guy that played well against the Bears just a week ago. So that one hurts. But overall, Lions played a very good game, holding the Panthers 19 points and putting up 20. Maybe you would like for them to put up a little more points, but Johnson was out. Blunt did not play a good game. I think they're using him a little too much. I know Johnson's better. I know he's faster. I know he can hit the hole harder. I know he has better moves, and I think he's just as strong at this point of both of their careers. So in terms of breaking tackle, so it's unfortunate. Maybe they wish they had Amir Abdullah back now. Maybe not, because you could use Riddick and Blunt. But I still think Abdullah is somewhat of a weapon, but I guess similar to Riddick. I do like Riddick a lot. Very good in the passing game. Seems to have a connection with Stafford, so I look for Riddick to play pretty solid going forward if needed. Not on Kerryon Johnson's level, though. Kenny Golladay, what a game from him. He had a couple catches where it was just ridiculous. Very good coverage. Can't get any better. Just makes a ridiculous play. Solid throws from Stafford, but your receiver needs to come up and make a big play there, so a lot of trust. Kenny Golladay, as I'm watching him here, I'm thinking you take all the traits you could give a receiver, any of the traits you want from a good receiver. What is Kenny Golladay missing out of those traits? I'm not saying he's elite or great at every single one of those traits, but he's not lacking any traits. I look out for Golladay to be, maybe a top 10 receiver in a couple years. One of my draft hits out of NIU, he's very, very impressive. Heck of a game from him. Big win for the Lions. Defense stepped up mainly because 19 points for the Panthers is a good game. They gave up a big play to DJ Moore. Other than that, solid game. Titans-Colts, classic Titans. No matter who the coaches are, who's on the team, this is what the Titans do. We kind of talked about this in our predictions video, that this is what the Titans could do. They've done it in the past, and they went out and did it. Destroyed the Patriots last week, then get destroyed by the Colts. Their defense coordinator, Dean Pease, he went to the hospital for something, so that doesn't help. Mariota getting hurt doesn't help, but that's not why they lost the game. They lost the game because the Colts were better in this game, much better. Credit to the Colts. Their defense, mainly. They scored 38 points, so, the offense won the game. Luck's been very impressive. T.Y. Hilton, a lot of guys stepping up, but the defense to hold the Titans team to 10 points, very good game plan. The young guys step up. Darius Leonard with another monster game. Interception on Blaine Gabbert, was kind of a gift, but he got the ball. So good play there. He was in the right spot. That might be the interception of the year on Blaine Gabbert because he was throwing to the receiver directly behind Darius Leonard. But he didn't see Darius Leonard, so it was very bad. So unfortunate for Mariota. Is he good going forward? Because they need him. Got the Texans coming up. Gabbert and the Titans actually beat the Texans. It would not happen again. So we'll see if the Texans will see Gabbert twice now. Very interesting. But number one team in defense, Titans before this week. Colts have their way with them. Very impressive. This team's a threat now. It's a threat not only in the division, it's a threat in the AFC. They're definitely a playoff contender. And it shows how well they drafted too, because these guys are getting better and better by the week, by the game, and they're going to continue to get better, and the whole team's continuing to get better. Andrew Luck's been out for so long that he's just going to he didn't play that great early in the year. He didn't play bad, but he didn't play that great. He's getting better and better. It's all coming together, and the front office deserves a lot of credit for this. So credit to the Colts there. Good win. That's a big one too. A division game. Moving on, Bucs and Giants. Giants get a good win here. They scored 38 points. Bucs defense on the weaker side, obviously, but for the Giants to score 38 is, obviously good. The Bucs, Fitzpatrick playing a terrible game. Then Winston comes in and almost comes back. We seen the opposite. Winston starts game, terrible game. Fitzpatrick comes in, almost comes back. I think that was on the Bengals. Yeah, that was on the Bengals game. So maybe they should start one of the quarterbacks for a couple drives, maybe a quarter, and then just put the other one in. That sounds like a plan to me because it seems to work. Almost came back, so the Giants didn't let up a comeback. Is it because Winston's that much better in that specific game, that situation? It's because the Giants kind of let up. Could be a little bit of both. Saquon with a monster game. I think Eli played pretty solid too. A Giants thing to happen. A thing to happen would be I think somebody else said this too. I've seen somebody say this too, and I agree with it. that it would be a Giants move to, start winning some games, not win out or anything, but start winning some games. Eli playing good, and they think that Eli's the guy next year. So that, even though they're winning right now, that's kind of the downside. The Bucs are just really missing somebody in the running game. That's pretty obvious. They're missing a lot of defense, pass rush. Basically, Jason Pierre-Paul by himself over there on the pass rush. And, yeah, not too much I really want to go over in this game because not a big game of the week, but a lot of scoring. Good win for the Giants. Texans-Redskins. The Texans escape another close game, and I see a lot of shit talking, I see a lot of it. People that maybe they're Texans haters. Maybe they're just football fans that see the Texans are winning these tight games, so they don't deserve their record. But here's the thing: they're winning, they're streaking, and they're for them to be able to close out these close games shows that they're a team, and they're pretty well coached. A team that we thought maybe wasn't well coached in the past. And my team personally can't close out close games. And, I wish my team was like the Texans. So enough of the hating there. They're winning games. They're a threat going forward. Do I think they can win a Super Bowl? That's a different question. But, they're going to have a battle with the Colts, and I still wouldn't rule out the Titans, possibly, if they're healthy. But we'll see. Good win for them. Just the Alex Smith injury just sucks, I wish I really didn't see the replay on that because it was just very, very hard to watch. I'm honestly surprised his Achilles and ankle isn't destroyed too, because when I saw it live, he planted it so weird where I thought his Achilles and ankles gave out first, and then I don't even want to talk about it. It was bad. It was one of the worst injuries I've ever seen because I thought it was from ankle all the way up. And it's bad. And, Colt McCoy came in and played pretty darn well. Adrian Peterson played well. They're still at the top of the division. Can Colt McCoy do it? They're trying out other quarterbacks. Which quarterback are they going to pick up? I think E.J. Manuel is who I would go with. I personally always thought E.J. Manuel was underrated, didn't get too much of a chance. Is he a starting quarterback? No. I think he's a good backup. So Colt McCoy would be the starter, obviously. So we'll see. That's just my thoughts. Just very unfortunate, and they could have still won this game. I guess that's somewhat of a positive going forward. You're at the top of a division that's not too great. The Cowboys are beatable, even though they're playing good football. Eagles are not playing good football, and the Giants got a lot of catching up to do. So even though it's a bad day and it sucks, there is a little bit of positive try to take away from it. The Redskins defense, very impressive, picked off Watson twice, then they recovered a fumble on Hopkins. That defense continues to play great in the red zone and can come up with crazy turnovers. So a lot of positives still going forward. Try to think about that. It's just very unfortunate. But another good win for the Texans, another close one. So many close ones this year. Steelers and Jags 20-16. How do the Jags not win this game is the question. Most of this game, they dominated most of this game, and I'm just thinking the Steelers just cannot play the Jags. They can't do it. Big Ben's playing terrible. He can't play against the Jags. And then Big Ben, second half, mainly fourth quarter, was absolutely ridiculous. You can see at the end of the game he was almost emotional because that game was so big, and what he did, it was unreal. Very impressive season for Big Ben. Very impressive fourth quarter for him. Good win there. Other guys stepped up. Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster. The defense played very well. James Conner was kind of off his game. And, I'm not saying they need Le'Veon Bell, but that is the one area where you almost need Le'Veon Bell is the passing game downfield, the ability to catch the ball. But they don't need him to win a Super Bowl. And I'm sure James Conner will be back on his game. Just an off week. Everybody has it. But the Jags, I don't know how they don't win this game because the defense played the way they did. Both the corners played an insane game. Boye will go unnoticed because the game that Ramsey had, insane game Ramsey had. He was everywhere. Fournette looked like he was back, breaking tackles like crazy. He soared in the end zone that one time, 3-4 yards out, ridiculous. He looked faster. I mentioned he's breaking tackles like crazy. It took like 4 guys to take him down. He looked back, and I was getting pumped looking at that. Not a Jags fan, not really a Fournette fan. I like Fournette. He was my number 1 running back a couple years ago. Glad to see that guy with that talent back. But they can't win the game. So many guys played good. Bortles didn't necessarily play bad, but he's I mean, he's got to win this game. He's got to put this game away. I guess they can use another receiver. They definitely can use another receiver, but they didn't have guys like Robinson and Hearns down the line last year when they made it. But man, it's the offense, the lack of the lack of points. They can't put games away. You look at the Jags. Some Jags fans, other people thought they should have drafted Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson wins you this game. Like, just an example, because he can he can turn the ball over just as much as Bortles can. But in this game, and he's going to have a similar stat line in terms of passing that Bortles had in this game. But the difference is the ability to do something on the ground. And not only that, it puts games away. It gives you that extra first down to run the clock, multiple first downs, ability to run the clock. Just an example. So I think that conversation is going to be had more should they have drafted a guy like Lamar or somebody else, not just him. So I don't know if Bortles' ability he can be a game manager, but that's not what was going to win this game. At times he can be a game manager, I should say. Sometimes he turns it over quite a bit, so that's not what that is. But it's unfortunate they couldn't win this game. How good they were last year to what they are this year, it just shows how crazy the NFL is. Bengals 21, Ravens 24. Lamar Jackson, kind of already talked about him. Early in this game, it looked like he was going to be unstoppable. I was thinking the only thing that's going to stop this, not in this game, but every game, is if he gets hurt. And that kind of slowed down, though, after the first drive. The Bengals kind of adjusted, so very impressive to them, even though they lost the game and gave up 24 points. Pretty impressive. Jackson didn't have a great game throwing, but it was his first game. He's such an impressive runner, and you can do so much more because of him. Opens things up for guys like Gus Edwards. Monster day. Not a lot of people know who he is, so that's the crazy thing. I thought Snead had a big game. He had a big first down for them later in the game. The Bengals, it's a tough task against Lamar Jackson. They did step up, but it's a game they got to win. Couldn't quite do it. It's unfortunate. Moving on. Raiders and Cardinals. Don't want to talk too much about this one. Just a little surprised the Raiders won, even though the Cardinals aren't too good of a team. I thought the Cardinals at home would take care of it. Derek Carr controlled the game pretty well. Josh Rosen, not pretty bad game. It happens for a rookie, but he did play probably the worst defense in football, so you'd expect him to be better. David Johnson finally had a monster game, but it didn't matter. They lost the game. Derek Carr, John Gruden arguing a little bit, still wondering what that was about, but they still got the W. Yeah, it's a game the Cardinals probably should come away with, but it's not the end of the world because they're going for an early pick, really. It's a little disappointing if you're a fan how we not beat the Raiders, but the Raiders kind of blew it with their pick now, but they got 3, so they'll be okay. Still a lot of football left to be played. Moving on, Broncos Chargers. I had a feeling this game would be close. I just didn't think the Chargers would lose this game at home, a division game at home. Broncos played a heck of a game. Really, the difference was I think Phillip Rivers did not play. He had his worst game of the year, I think. A lot of yards, but a lot of incompletions, turnovers. Didn't play a good game, and that was the difference. Next time they meet, it'll be in Denver. It could be the opposite outcome because Phillip Rivers most likely will be on his game, but maybe it's the Broncos defense that affects him that much. I thought that safety duo played a very good game. Chris Harris, once again, played a very good game. Bradley Chubb stepped up. The Broncos team is very good. The team is very good. I think coaching is what held them back. I know. The team has talent to be a playoff team. Were they 4-6? It's the best darn 4-6 team I've seen. Phillip Lindsay, undrafted free agent, once again, ridiculous. Keenum didn't play great, a lot of incompletions, but he controlled the game. Cortland Sutton, the rookie, stepped up. Big fan of Sutton's game. He's going to continue to get better too. Crazy game. Good win for them in the end. It's a tough loss for the Chargers at home. They should be able to win these games because even though I said the Broncos have tons of talent, the Chargers have tons and tons of talent, and they got to win these close games. And they've been a team that in the past kind of just hasn't been able to close these type of games out. I think Keenan Allen played a good game. I think Melvin Gordon played a good game and got a lot of touches, but probably should touch the ball a little more because he's that good. But good win for the Broncos. They have the talent to go to the playoffs. You can't count them out. Eagles 7, Saints 48. Not too much to talk about in this one. Saints are the best team in football. They dominated this Eagles team, who is struggling. They're probably the most injured team in football, but they're struggling bad. Wentz is struggling big time. Saints defense, known as maybe one of the weaker defenses a few weeks ago. They've been stepping up big time. Are they getting better? Yeah, but it's also a mixture of Wentz playing poor and the Saints' offense getting up early. So the opposite, the opposing team's offense is very predictable once you get up. So getting up early is very, very important in the NFL today. We'll talk about more of that in a little bit. And the Saints' ability to do that because of the talent they have on offense, because of their coaching staff, is big time. It forces the other team to struggle on offense, Wentz to throw 3 interceptions. Very impressive. The running back duo is ridiculous. Ingram and Kamara. Traquan Smith had a monster game. Drew Brees, it's just ridiculous. They have the best offensive line in football. They're easily the best team in football right now. They have one loss. It's in week 1. You can't take anything away from that. So the way I look at it, they're not undefeated, but it almost feels as their undefeated team, and they're very dominant. Josh Adams played pretty solid for the Eagles. That's about it. Wentz is just not the same. Maybe it's an overreaction, but what would they be with Nick Foles? They wouldn't have won this game, but what would they be? Would they have more wins? Wentz is really struggling. Got to figure it out. Is it because of the injury? Is it because teams figured out the system? It wasn't it was a very unpredictable system last year, and that's why it was dominant. Teams figured it out now. A lot of questions there. A lot of questions. Good win for the Saints. Vikings, Bears. I'm going to rant. I'm a Vikings fan, so I'm going to rant about the Vikings a lot here in a second, but let's get through the Bears, what the Bears fans want to hear and what they deserve here before I rant about the Vikings. Good win for them. They needed this game, big-time division game at home. Got to give a lot of credit to the Bears defense, the whole defense. Very good game, and then the receiving unit was very, very impressive. They didn't have a whole bunch on offense. Vikings played pretty good defense, but that wide receiver unit was very good. Anthony Miller, Gabriel, Allen Robinson, all of it was very good, very impressive. Again, the defense was the difference in this game, but I think the Vikings caused that. Not to take anything away from the Bears, but I think the Vikings caused what the Bears did on defense to happen, and we're gonna explain that now here. And I talked about getting a lead early, how important it is, and that was the problem with the Vikings here. I think the play calling of the Vikings, I kind of bashed it in the past. This is as bad as it gets. Early in this game, they're rarely throwing the ball. When they do throw the ball, good things were happening. I think early they had like one incompletion, and it was a missed touchdown. Diggs was wide open, and Cousins overthrew him. Terrible game from Cousins, by the way. Terrible games from both quarterbacks, by the way. But even though you don't complete that pass, you have to go back to it. You have early in the game. At this point, the offensive line's blocking well in the pass game. Too many running plays on the Vikings, insisting on running the ball when it's not working, and insisting on first down. It was almost like it was a rule that they had to run the ball on first down. And before the game even started, Collinsworth mentioned he thinks the Vikings are going to run the ball early because they're worried about Mac. And at that point, I'm saying you cannot do that. And they went out and did it. And it's just a mistake. You get down pretty fast, pretty early. So what does that mean? You have to pass the ball. The defense knows you're passing the ball. The thing about runs and passes is they're two different plays. Defense is a little bit about predicting, If they know they're passing, it's not too hard to stop. They know how to blitz the pass. They know how to get after the quarterback. And the Vikings basically set themselves up for this. I think I put a lot of blame on the coaching staff, the game plan. I think Cousins can't throw. He can't throw interceptions. Cook can't fumble. But I think those players are kind of set up, and they're not letting them play to their best ability. The Vikings have tremendous talent, and it's not showing because the game plan and the coaching staff. I like Zimmer, heck of a defense coach. I don't want him to go anywhere. But this team doesn't seem the same as last year when it's almost the same. Unnecessary roughness penalties all over the place. The team didn't do that last year. These were stupid ones too. Obvious calls, except for the Eric Wilson had somebody's towel wrapped around his arm and then just kind of threw it. I'm not sure why that was a flag. And that was confirmed after the game. The Vikings were told it was because he threw the towel at the other player, but he didn't look at the other player when he did it. But that didn't affect the outcome of this game at all. The other 15-yard penalties were just completely unnecessary. It's not something that happened in this team last year. So Pretty mind-blowing stuff. I put the blame on coaching. A lot of credit to the Bears, though, but the Vikings being very predictable and setting themselves up to fail is not good. Definitely not good. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The Bears are definitely a very good team, though. Very good win. What else do I got for this game? Nothing much else. It really didn't have to be as close as it was. So I think the Bears, had control of this game. They were up early. I think they could have won by more. I was surprised that they were trying to go late in the game when they could have ran the clock. I respect it, but they were really trying to go Trubisky, and he was kind of keeping the Vikings in the game. I think they could have ran the ball a little more. Cohen's fumble, that happens. Trubisky, rare amount of times he threw downfield, and when he did, he was either intercepted or incomplete. And Anthony Miller made a downfield catch for a touchdown. That was a ridiculous catch. Trubisky's got to bring that up a little bit. But really the pick six, too, was the Eddie Jackson. Another pick six from him was the difference in this game, too. I think that just the drive right before this, Xavier Rhodes dropped what would have been a pick six. Instead, they punted the Vikings, and then the very next play, pick six the other way. So that's the difference in this game. But clearly the Bears outplayed the Vikings. I blame the game plan and the coaching staff on the Vikings' loss because they got down early. It didn't need to be that way. Another thing is, too, I was predicting the Vikings to overuse screen passes on offense because if you watch the film on the Bears, mainly the Dolphins game, they struggle to stop the screen pass. The Vikings already like using the screen pass a lot, and they didn't use it once. Did not use it once. No screen pass to Diggs, no screen pass to Thielen. Nobody. They even like jet sweeps a lot, and I think that could have worked. Didn't use it once. Game plan was poor. Defense played very good, though. You got to remember that the Bears did get a pick six, so defense played very well. I think it's a tiring and hard offense to stop, just the style of it, the playbook of it. So it was a defensive battle, as I predicted. I kind of got bashed for that I was predicting it was going to be a defensive battle because the Bears score 30 points per game, and the Vikings score just a little south of that. But it was a defensive battle. And pretty solid game, but I thought the Bears dominated the game, played better pretty much the whole game. So they got to make sure the Vikings don't get back in that, or any team doesn't get back in that game. But very impressive win. They're at the top of the NFC North, sitting pretty comfy. They got a big game against the Lions on Thanksgiving. You expect the Bears to win, but you never know with the NFL these days. Coming up so fast. Should be a good game, I think. And the prediction for Monday night, 31-30. I got a gut feeling about the Chiefs. I think I got to start sticking with my gut feeling rather than who should or will or who you think would win the game, because that's this year in the NFL. It's just been crazy. So there's my thoughts. You can email us, askfrogsangelsports@gmail.com. That is for, you basically ask questions. That is for featured questions of the week on the Friday live streams. And Twitter, Frogs_Angels, mentioned that. Please follow us there. But that's going to do it on this one. 10K is our subscriber goal. Please help us get there. We got big things coming. Big improvements to the channel coming. Big surprises. We're trying to get to 10K, though, for the face reveal, for the webcam, and the live streams. So help us get there. And please click that like button. That'd be much appreciated. But that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for everyone's support. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.